It's gonna take one hell of a conspiracy theory to get me to stop cussing. Content is explicit. You have been warned.
Welcome. You are listening to Bewitched Banter, where two best friends,
One skeptical, Amy,
and our resident believer, Krista,
talk about all the universe and its divine powers.
Or what I would call bullshit thinking.
I thought you called it magical thinking, but that's okay.
Well, that too. Both all in the same wheelhouse, right?
In that wheelhouse, spooky, the spiritual, some wacky religions, cults, and the paranormal.
And I like to bring us back to Earth and talk about how science debunks most of what Krista believes in.
And once again, this bitch needs to heal her chakras. So let's get spiritual today. We are covering something really cool, and you found it, so credit to you, my friend, of people's political affiliations tied to their beliefs in the paranormal. And I'm really excited. I've got a lot for us.
Okay, let's hear it.
All right, Ames, you're first, I guess. Gemini, you can reconnect with people who you know from many different lifetimes now. And now Elle's barking. Fucking fabulous. This is our life. Please, baby girl, you are so fucking good. Holy Jesus Christ. All right, just lay down, baby.
I don't really have much faith right now.
I do. I have a lot of faith. So we're going to get through this. Gemini, you can now reconnect with people who you know from many different lifetimes. New people who seem very familiar can appear, but also people you know who will feel very new and very different will reappear. This is all a direct result of your changes and your path.
Okay.
That was a little bullshitty, I'm not going to lie. That one was even for me.
No, but one part does apply.
Really?
Well, the part of meeting different people, because I've had the weirdest fucking Uber drivers this week. I had a guy who was MAGA. He told me, he's like, the FBI has been going after Trump for 5 years and they can't find a thing. And I was like, well, don't you think the justice system takes a while? Because you hear about like someone getting accused or going to court, and then it's like 10 years later. Which is like huge true crime news for all the people out there that... Is it Anod from Serial was released?
Oh, Adnan. I didn't. How did I miss
Adnan,
that? Yeah. Wow. Really? I'm going to go read that after
yesterday.
This. Holy shit. Well...
Oh, and then...
Okay. MAGA driver you told us about.
It gets even...
Weirder?
Today... Yes, this guy...
Also... Bewitched Banter mugs courtesy of Dr. Sis, who we will be discussing today. Anyhow.
Today, some guy wanted to talk to me about the magical powers of cacao powder and how you could pronounce it different ways. And then on my ride home, this guy was telling me all about how he rides bulls. And he was like showing me videos, and he was knocked unconscious.
What?
The other night. Yeah, and he's like, yeah, people say I'm crazy, but it just teaches me how I could be better at things in life and persevere. And I was like, okay, you get it.
Wow. Okay, so
I'm tomorrow.
What are you applying to this?
I mean, I could read that into anything, though. I don't think it actually applies, but I just wanted to bring up all my weird Uber drivers I've had lately, because it's exhausting sometimes talking to people when you're like, I don't know how to keep up this conversation because I'm just tired and I want to go home.
I remember,
and you keep talking to
when
me
I used to Uber
about weird stuff.
To Cronkite, same thing. I'd get a lot of MAGA people, and I'd be like, and to your point, no space or energy to argue. It's like 8:39 in the morning. I'm like, I'm out. Like, don't talk to me about this shit when I'm just trying to get to work. Thanks. Like, no.
Well, most Uber drivers I have are like super nice, and we don't usually... That's like the first time I've really had one talk politics with me. Most of the time they avoid it.
Lucky you. All right, what's in my horoscope? Duh, it's all about me.
Yeah, we know. Oh, was I supposed to have one ready?
It's in our intro.
Oh. I was like, I did not look up horoscopes.
No. It's right next to yours right below our intro.
Oh, okay. I see it. Okay. You are looking at yourself. You're reevaluating yourself. You're reestablishing a relationship with yourself. You can bring yourself something beautiful now from your invisible world, and you can transform your lifestyle in a meaningful way. That's a lot of you.
What I say is all about me. Actually, that is
the horoscope must understand.
It is a very negative Libra trait, but whatever. I own it. I don't give a shit. And anyhow, that actually does apply, and I know I'm applying things grandiosely, but as you know, I went to Sedona this weekend, and a lot of that same thing of like just going within to like forgive and heal came up. So anyway, I'm about it.
Working on your inner demons.
Literally. A lot of them to fucking dispel. So, all right. Are y'all ready for this? It is really cool. It is a little academic. So anyhow, again, first I'm geeking out because it's really related to like what I do and love. So like journalism and being an educator and media literacy, it ties into a lot of that. Even though this is actually an academic paper, but I will do my damnedest to break it down layman's style, because as you know, neither you or I are scientists. So
do we even need to say that?
Anyhow, again, this topic was inspired by you. But nonetheless, I have again tried to simplify the concepts for the purpose of the podcast. So if you need an explainer, just be like, you can use the raise your hand feature like our students do in Zoom.
I'll just cut in and ask you. I'm not going to raise my hand.
Of course not. But anyway, this came from a paper, like you said, or like I said, academic style in college by a fella named Tyler Ferrari, whose senior thesis was called Paranormal Beliefs and Their Effect on the American Fears and Political Identification. He wrote this in 2018 for a poli-sci class at Chapman University, which is in, I think, Central Coast of California, if I'm not mistaken, where you got engaged. Anyhow, Tyler, good old Ty, he does a really good job of setting up his academic paper in a little bit more of a narrative way for us lay folks. And he really just reminds us that America kind of started all on propaganda and conspiracy theories. Obviously, we patriots rebelling against your King George III. And
how dare you?
And it really stemmed from obviously higher taxes and all the bullshit that they were trying to do from across the ocean, across the pond. And there we enter yellow journalism, which frankly is the foundation of journalism, sadly, and propaganda. And that
what's yellow journalism?
It's slander essentially and smut. Like, think of, no offense, the British tabloids.
Well, I don't think American ones are much better.
No, but like Britain ones or British are so fucking mean. Like, y'all don't give a fuck. We talk about this all the time, how y'all are very direct and like fuck people's feelings. And the British media is extra harsh on celebrities and people in power and fame. So either way, you're right. We have just equal smut, but it did start here in the States. Well, it didn't start in the States, but we used it heavily in the States to basically write bad shit about your opponents. And that's yellow journalism, writing in untrue or unfair things for the purpose of political gain, i.e.
Okay, so basically like Fox News.
Essentially. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. So anyways, welcome to America. Because I preface that because a lot of what we're going to discuss today, it shapes all of our worldview and our cultural lenses. So we're already at our birth of America, like skeptical as fuck of the government and big corporations and things that are like just big ass organizations we're skeptical of because of, thank you, the monarchy.
Not small ass corporations, just big ass corporations.
There's no such thing as a small ass corporation by nature.
I know, just funny how you describe it.
Well, okay.
Big ass corporation.
Titties. No, okay. So now that that's out of the way, we obviously know I'm the believer, you're the skeptic. But as long as we've been doing the podcast, which is almost a year, holy shit.
That is true.
I really learned like healthy skepticism, and I'm really proud of that. I will never give up my metaphysical beliefs and the benefits of healing like from within, like mind, body, spirit, meditation. Never giving that shit up. But I am still questioning all things. And based on this research, I sometimes wonder, because I question things, maybe that makes me like more conspiratorial. I don't know, but we'll get to that.
Maybe
we'll get to that. So to start the entire topic, it was very first, more importantly, to define cognitive dissonance. And we need to understand this because it's how and why people have beliefs in conspiracies or the paranormal. So I think we talked about this a little bit this weekend, but do you know what cognitive dissonance is? Or have heard it, I'm sure.
I've heard of it. I've came across it mostly through research, through the podcast, but right now I couldn't tell you shit about Fuck Marty.
Per usual. We have to have it one every episode. We don't know shit about Fuck Marty. But on Wikipedia, it's the state of having inconsistent thoughts, beliefs, or attitudes, especially as it relates to behavioral decisions and an attitude change. The second definition from Very Well Mind is, as stated by the American Psychological Association, that cognitive dissonance is an unpleasant psychological state resulting from inconsistency between two or more elements. So
you're basically having conflicting thoughts.
Exactly. Would you like to hear some examples?
Yes, I'd love to.
Pizzagate and lizard people at the top of my list. But real talk, that's just a very obviously personalized example of like, not that I believe in that Pizzagate nor lizard people, let me clarify, but other folks in our podcast sphere do. So,
well, Tom.
Yeah.
Tom will come and talk about it.
Sorry, I don't mean to laugh at your beliefs.
From Strange Brew.
Yeah,
podcast.
Broskies over there. Okay, a few more examples that are less political. All right, so I'll trigger warning on all these real life examples. You want to be healthy, but you don't exercise regularly or eat a nutritious diet. You feel guilty as a result. Me. Next, we know that smoking or drinking too much, wink, wink, this weekend, Sunday night RuPaul, woo, woo.
That was
fun,
so
though. Fucking fun, but I went a little overboard, which literally canceled out both of our days yesterday, at least mine.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, we know that drinking too much is harmful for our health, but we do it anyway. And we rationalize this action by pointing to your high stress levels. Oops.
I did it again.
I got drunk at RuPaul's
I made
Drag
you
Race.
believe.
Okay, so you like to build up your savings, but tend to spend extra cash as soon as you get it. Again, me. You regret this decision later, such as when facing an unexpected expense that you don't have the money to cover. Last one.
I feel like we all want more savings.
So last one. You have a long to-do list, but spend the day watching your favorite shows instead. You don't want your spouse to know. So you try to make it look like you've worked hard all day. To be honest,
that's like
I
me.
didn't even read that example. That shit is so fucking funny because I see both of your bitch asses doing it to each other.
Well, that was like me frantically cleaning the kitchen earlier.
God, I'm dying. That's a good one. Okay, so what influences cognitive dissonance? There's different degrees, and it can depend on a few different factors. Among them, how highly a particular belief is valued, and the degree to which the beliefs are inconsistent. So the overall strength of the dissonance can actually be influenced by the following. the importance of the attached belief. Cognitions that are more personal, such as belief about oneself and are highly valued to self, tend to result in greater dissonance. So, for example, you and I telling ourselves that we're fat, right? We talk down to ourselves all the fucking time, despite when we work hard. Like, we have to retrain our brains to be nice to ourselves, essentially. The second factor is the number of dissonant beliefs. So the more clashing thoughts you have, the greater the strength of the dissonance, which again, I think is maybe why I'm such a we'll get into it in a little bit, conspiracy theorist. Like, I'm way more conspiracy theory believing than you are, I feel. But it's because I have so many different things that are competing for the truth for me. So, like, obviously I have my metaphysical beliefs, and then I have my scientific beliefs, because I know that science exists, and it's you know, I don't know, maybe that lends me to being more of a believer. I don't know.
So wait, can we go back to the first one? So the first one, if you have like an elevated self-image, you're more likely, or if you have a lower self. Like, if you have less self-esteem, then you're more likely to have more cognitive dissonance.
Yeah, so actually could go either way. So I just was using our talking down on ourselves as an example, but essentially the first one says that the more personal whatever that belief is to you, the more highly valued that belief is to oneself, you're going to have higher dissonance or disconnection with what's really real. So for you and I, we need to see ourselves better. But for a narcissist, they actually internally hate themselves, but outwardly project confidence. And that's obviously conflicting. Does that make sense?
Yeah, for the most part. Good enough.
Okay, sweet. Moving on. So I know you read a little bit of this, but pretend you didn't. So,
I didn't read the article at all.
Good.
I just read the headline and sent it to you.
So based on that, and this topic today of your political beliefs as tied to your paranormal beliefs or not, who do you think in the political ideologies would be more prone to believing in paranormal things?
Oh, I did come across that. So sorry. I know the answer to that. It's Democrats, which I could not believe, because it seems like Republicans are more conspiracy theorists.
So let me tell you, actually, the real answer to the paranormal, according to this research by good old Tyler at Chapman University, independents are the most likely to believe in the paranormal, which I consider myself. So, whereas Democrats are more likely to believe in conspiracy theories than Republicans, which is a little weirdly.
How new is that study, though? Because if they looked at the news in the past 2 years.
And so, to be fair, it is new. I should have disclaimed this to you. It was in 2018. It was published in 2018, excuse me. They did the study in 2017, right after the election. So there's some things we'll get to, why Democrats are very mistrusting, and rightfully so. So timeliness, he does weigh that out as a disclaimer of so this might influence Democrats leaning to distrust, as in the Trump presidency.
That makes sense, because everyone thought we didn't think the election results were fake, but we knew there was the Russian influence.
Exactly.
And the Republicans stopping the vote. So I feel like everyone was mistrusting government at that point.
Exactly.
On the Democrat side. So I could see the influence. And I wonder if they did the study today, because everyone thinks Biden didn't, well, not everyone, certain individuals don't believe Biden won.
Right.
Won't admit it. So I wonder if they would fall more on that spectrum.
Yeah, anything to, again, going back to cognitive dissonance is what it is. They know that's not true. All the facts, all of the results, the tabulations, the investigations show no evidence of fraud, yet they're still spouting this bullshit. It's really scary.
Well, it's it goes back to COVID. Yeah. There's pictures of people, videos of people dying, and then they're it's not real. At a certain point, you're just I think even the experts just want to throw their hands up and be fuck it. They kind of did at the end. They were we tried.
Yeah. It's so sad. I actually have a friend and colleague whose mom was a non-vaxxer, and she did pass away. And it was really sad.
Her and a lot of them.
And she was so pissed at her mom. Because she's in news like us and media. And she was Mom, this is the facts. But her mom mistrusted and sadly passed away. So anyway.
And I feel for the family members, like your coworker, who's now left to mourn their mom the rest of their life. But it's like, oh my God, come on. Honestly, I just didn't understand. I was like, even if the vaccine doesn't work, just take it and hope for the best.
And also, if you're going to talk about chips in our arms, well, guess what, bitches? They're already watching us in every angle of our phones and speakers and devices. Like, come on. Don't give me this bullshit. They're already tracking us. Get over it. There's my conspiracy.
Yeah, well, they were posting that from they'd be posting that from their cell phone to Facebook where they're tracking
Exactly.
you.
Fucking stupid. Anyway, I wanted to take a side note real quick because, again, I'm an independent and I definitely would consider myself a low-level conspiracy theorist. Not that I believe in any of the QAnon bullshit. What I'm trying to say is I believe in, like, government. I just don't trust the government. So anything to do with that.
Who does?
Well, it depends on the circumstances. We'll get to it. There's different things that this survey tested, which I thought was fascinating, which was, it was paranormal beliefs, conspiracy theories, and real life fears like natural disasters or an economic crisis. And those are the three things this study tested. And again, so I believe in the paranormal, always have, always will. And, a really fucking scary documentary happened, and I bring it up because it was a disappearance of a very, very savvy outdoors young man, and it was called Horror in the High Desert. And I thought it was just going to be like my normal Dateline and like murder stories and hiking kind of thing. But actually, what it came out to be was this guy was a survivalist, extreme survivalist, very young, went out in the woods, remote locations. And on one of his expeditions, he found this really creepy cabin, and he came back because he has like a blog, a crazy amount, like 50,000 followers, way more than we have right now. So get it. God rest Gary. But anyway, he found this cabin in the woods and wrote it on his blog, "Hey guys, you won't believe what I found. It was horrifying. I'm never going back." But his followers.
What state are we talking about?
High desert in Nevada.
Okay.
And these people were like bullying him. They cyber bullied him and saying, "You're going back. We don't believe you until you bring back video evidence or photographic, like some type of evidence that you found this, or give us the map." And he said, "I'm not giving you the map because A, I don't give unexperienced hikers that license to go essentially die if you don't know what you're doing. And B, he was so terrified of what he saw that he wasn't going to go back." But they cyberbullied him into going back. He found his way. Oh my God, it's so fucking scary. And there's live footage, or not live, there's real footage, raw footage of what he was doing or capturing in night vision because he was so terrified of being detected by this thing that he saw. And then you see this like, oh God, it's like a Michael.
Why did he go at nighttime? That just seems stupid.
Great question. But
if you're so terrified, I'm so terrified of this place, I'm going to go when there's no sunlight.
I think it's because he didn't want to be seen. So that's the best I can give you because he was a brilliant survivalist. So I feel like it must have been something about detection. But anyway, it pops out in like the corner and you see this thing with like a machete. And I kid you not, it looks like Michael Myers with long indigenous hair. And it's so fucking scary, dude. And then at the end, you see this thing attack him, and then you see its face in the camera. And essentially what it turns out to be, they think, what is a very deformed person, maldeformed human that chose to live off the grid because of probably being made fun of. And so this person murdered this poor guy. Gary Hinge is his name, and he was only like 30-something years old. And this person stole his truck, found it 50 miles back, and moved it to like get the cops off the trail. And
wow.
Yeah, it was so fucking scary. And then they must have been somewhere in society at some point because A, they knew how to drive a car, and B, they chopped off poor Gary's hand and put it in his backpack and left it on a actual populated hiking trail. So this person, whomever they are, like they must be familiar with some type of level of civilization. But the deformities in that screen was fucking terrifying. And I bring it all up to say, while he was missing for about, I want to say months to 5 weeks, there was all sorts of conspiracy theories. Like it was a witch, it was a ghost, it was a government conspiracy, UFOs. But all his 50,000 followers then were like pouncing on this conspiracy theory. Turns out, again, he was unfortunately murdered by a deranged person living off the grid.
Damn.
But
That's
yeah,
dark.
it was so fucking. I had a nightmare about it last night, actually, because just that face was like fucking horrific. But anyway, point being,
maybe that's why if the person looks that scary, maybe that's why they don't want to be in public.
Yeah, that's kind of what some of the reporters were saying that were on this documentary. And I want to look up the footage to like just fact check again. It's about finding the facts today to see if it was really real footage, because it was a little bit of a jankily made documentary, I'm not going to lie. But regardless, if it was phony footage, they made that shit look real and real scary. Like,
I mean, but watch any video today. There's the technology out there.
Yeah, that's true.
To do
That's so
that.
true.
I mean, I wouldn't be amazed if it was believable, because look at the movies we have today and like animation.
Yeah. But anyway, it was scary as fuck. But I move on. And again, just all that to say, watch it, because it was really it was well done, even though it was like the production value sucked, but the quality, but the storyline was very well done. Anyhow, okay, so conspiracy theories galore in many things of paranormal, lots of associations and enmeshment with the two. But anyhow, I'm going to go back, bring it on back to Tyler's hypotheses of his paper. And he has a great summary that asks us about people's influences in their beliefs and political identification and ideology. And are there correlations, again, with their political ID, with the belief that the government is hiding the truth about aliens or what have you name it, 9/11, Sandy Hook, you name it. Or do their political identifications, or parties rather, have them more likely to believe in a certain disaster like terrorism or an economic downturn? And he says that understanding this is crucial, essentially, because we're now more skeptical than ever in anything that's a massive agency like the government or media. And as you know, I've always said this, media is the fourth estate, and unfortunately, it's not doing a great job, and hasn't been for quite some time. Well before Trump. Anyway, also a really sad day in Arizona today. Roe was about to be overturned. I didn't see the headlines if it was officially, but I'm going to assume it was here in Arizona. So.
Oh, I didn't know that was today.
They were voting on it or meeting about it. So it's going to happen soon, sadly, if it hasn't already. But, in that case, my sister said, keep your next one on in. So don't get pregnant. Anyway, okay, so back to political views. So this is from the survey, the study that Tyler found. Overall, conservatives tend to believe in the paranormal. I can't speak today. Conservatives tend to be those who believe in paranormal phenomena like ghosts, cryptids, and aliens. And he does point out in his paper that this also includes conservative Democrats, because there are some conservative Democrats as well. So even though we associate the term conservative a lot with Republicans, he pointed out it did include conservative Democrats. Okay, moving on to said Democrats. They tend to believe in conspiracy theories more so, as I said earlier, and independents are more likely to believe in paranormal phenomena than they are to believe in, or about equal. Sorry, their level of belief in conspiracy theories and paranormal phenomena are about equal, and they were the most highly respondent in both these areas of all the three parties. So, as in believers. So independents overall represent the biggest belief, if you will, biggest believers.
I mean, that makes sense. Don't you think so? Because independents probably form more their own beliefs and structures of beliefs.
I think so.
I don't.
Yeah, then I think I have a little bit more on that later, but it's just so fascinating because I fall into that category, actually, obviously. So anyway, so here's some data. I'll make it, I swear it's not that academic that I made it. I made it for the little people. Okay, so the study was compiled in 2017, And it was out of a Chapman survey of the American fears. So they do this annual study, Chapman University, of all American adults, or of whomever participates, American adults. In this particular study, they had 1,207 participants all across the country. And the paper makes a very clear distinction between conspiracy theories and political conspiratorialism or conspiratorial politics. And as like a basic layman's thing, again, conspiracies at a whole are just taking a really, really complex human idea or things we don't understand and boiling them down to such reduced oversimplification that may or may not have any political ties.
Okay. Kind of like, well, we talked about that in the cults episode. Like, cults, a lot of people who join cults is because they're like trying to find the easy answer to their problems, where most of the time it's not like there's just an easy solution, like snap of your fingers answer to like, why am I depressed? Like, oh, take this blue pill, you'll be all good. But really, it's like you need to work on yourself. It's going to be like a long journey type thing. So,
exactly.
Yeah. I mean, the blue pill might work sometimes.
Yeah. The blue weed gummy, always. Always. Yeah. So finally, on this note, conspiratorial politics is the purposeful misinformation, propaganda, and use for the sole purpose of influencing government affairs and political opinions in whomever's pushing out the information.
Okay, that makes sense. So someone's gaining something, where the conspiracy theory, maybe someone's not gaining anything from it.
Yeah, it may or may not be political. But he wanted to also point out the difference, because also conspiratorial politics is like more, it's just, I think, a little bit more nefarious. Obviously, look at us today, QAnon, the election fraud, fucking misinformation, malinformation, you name it. Fake news. I mean, it's all circles back. It all connects. So everything fucking connects. That's why I was geeking out on this research. I was like, oh my God, this is my life. This is what I do. Okay, are you ready for some really cool data points and some of the cool questions they asked to nearly 1,200 Americans?
Yes, let's hear it.
This is on the category of, and the category is, I'm going to be RuPaul for a minute, paranormal or odd beliefs. So this question says, please indicate your level of agreement with the following statements. Aliens have come to the Earth in modern times. Bigfoot is a real creature. And places can be haunted by spirits. The next questions they asked were conspiracies. Category is conspiracies. The government is concealing what it knows about. Let's say alien encounters. The government is concealing what it knows about. Let's say the moon landing. Okay, and that's conspiracy category. The next category is realistic fears. All right, so please indicate your level of agreement with these statements. The United States is likely to experience a large-scale terrorist event such as 9/11 in the near future. Ugh. And how afraid are you of the following events? An economic or financial collapse. Ugh. That one got me, to be honest with you.
Yeah, that one's the most likely to happen in my book.
Yeah. You know what's funny? I didn't see anything about environmental collapse because we're obviously fucking ourselves up with that. But anyhow. Oh, okay. Just a quote from Tyler regarding these questions. Quote, specifically, these questions regarding conspiracies about the moon landing and alien encounters were chosen because these conspiracies have persisted across the decades and have become ingrained in American culture, which allows the experimenters to gain better responses from the survey respondents, end quote. So essentially, to encapsulate more people based on demographics and age, they put it back to the 60s when all these other big-ass conspiracies started.
They put what back to the 60s?
Questions of, like, conspiracies that were starting in the 60s. So, like, the moon landing.
Oh, so, like, if you were talking to an old person, you'd be like, ask them something about what happened
exactly,
in the 60s.
And giving, not only getting more sample size, but also, like, people who lived through these conspiracies to see if they believed or not, kind of thing.
Okay, that makes sense.
And giving that they were around longer, it's giving the conspiracy more time to breathe, if you will, right? Too. So, okay. Here's the results. Drum roll. Okay. Category for paranormal or odd beliefs. Independents, when asked if aliens have visited the Earth in modern times, independents were 29.8% likely to believe. Republicans, 24.5%, and Democrats, 23.3%.
Wow. So pretty close. Not like a huge disparity.
Yeah, not too bad in aliens. Well, pretty much we all think something's funky in the universe, no matter what our political party is. When asked if Bigfoot is a real creature, independents agreed that 19.8%, Republicans 14.3%, and Democrats 13.8%.
Who believes in Bigfoot?
People really do.
Do you?
No, absolutely not.
Why? Really you have lots of crazy other beliefs. So why is that so outlandish? Are you on your high horse for people believing in Bigfoot?
Yeah, fuck you, Bigfoot believers.
Yeah, but I can believe in other crazy things.
I can. I don't know. It just seems like we would have found skeletons, like we have dinosaur skeletons. I don't know.
But maybe they're hanging out by that scary cabin where that deformed man is.
Dude. Honestly, that was one of did I say that was one of their conspiracy theories too? They thought it was maybe a cryptid or Bigfoot type thing because it was super scary. The guy left a bare footprint next to Gary's truck.
See, there you go. So scary. Bigfoot, he's real.
But, from you, not me.
Oh yeah.
Okay, we're moving on to believing that spirits can haunt locations. Yes, please.
Oh, we know that.
Half of all party affiliates believe that spirits can haunt locations.
I'm not surprised by that.
In your face, Billy. In your face.
Well, it doesn't mean anything. I mean, the majority of the population can be dumb, or are you dumb as fuck?
Dumb as a motherfucker.
I don't think it means anything if the majority of a lot of people out there aren't really with it.
Well, this, according to the scientific data, also does a little disclaimer saying that when you compare the two parties, Republicans are more likely to believe in paranormal phenomena only by a small percent over Democrats. But it's so negligible that they're basically on the same level, Democrats and Republicans, of believership, whereas independents are like, what's up? Shit is real. And that's me. So that tracks.
I mean, I would assume, maybe it'd be interesting to know how much religion plays into it. Because I would assume less religious people are Democrats and more religious people are Republicans. And I feel like more religious people are more likely to believe in spirits and aliens and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, he doesn't really touch on religions in this paper, but I am curious about that too. And again, to be fair to his research, he did say this is one of the very few studies out there that's trying to correlate political affiliation with paranormal beliefs. Mm-hmm. So they've done obviously a lot on cognitive dissonance, a lot on Americans' beliefs in the paranormal. We know that majority of Americans do believe in paranormal things, but he again is one of the first to make a study about correlating politics and paranormal.
I mean, that's probably a hard study to complete.
Yeah, he had a bunch of methodologies, which beats the hell out of me how to read those, frankly.
Yeah, and you don't need a I think that would put us to sleep.
What it put me, anyway, I was amazed that I was able to pull this together, and I'm really proud of myself.
No, I'm proud of you too, because I looked at the article and I was like, this is very academic.
It really is. Okay, moving on to conspiracies category results. Independents, again, were the most likely to believe in conspiracy, and specifically the conspiracy that government is concealing the truth about the moon landing. Independents, 31.5%. Republicans, believe it or not. You know what? I have a comment after this. Okay. Independents, 31.5% believe the moon landing was fake. Republicans, only 17.4% believe so. And Democrats much higher than Republicans here, 25.4% believe.
Interesting.
And I think that's because Republicans are typically America, fuck yeah, and like the moon landing was such a big celebration of patriotism in our country that I think that's why Republicans are maybe don't believe that it was fake.
That's a good theory. I could follow that.
Oh, thanks. Oh, my God.
Are you the scientist in house now? Researcher?
Okay. So moving on. When asked if the government is being truthful about aliens, once again, independents hold a very high gap in believing over Democrats and Republicans at 44.3%. Believe that the government's lying about aliens. Lying ass motherfuckers, which we know I believe it based on our UFO episode. Anyhow, Republican 36.3%, Democrats 38.3%. So
pretty high.
Finally, we're getting into the real fears category, i.e., climate change, science stuff, and shit. Like actual things that could happen in the world versus paranormal beliefs.
Or like more likely.
Yes, more likely of questions. Okay, so when asked about their fear or belief that another 9/11 type of event will happen soon, independents were not as high. Republicans came in the win on believing this as 70%, independents 60%, and Democrats 54.5%.
Okay. I mean,
similar theory here, because Republicans are like, yeah, America.
Well, and also not saying all media is not guilty of this, but like, I do think all media is like the fear mongering, like everyone's out to get us. But I feel like the Republicans do that, or Fox News does that more about like foreign countries where, I feel like, progressives kind of realize we need to be more fearful of like domestic terrorism, but they don't realize that.
Or care. Gun violence, no problem.
I don't even know if they don't care. I just think a lot of them are so misinformed. Like they're just not getting the real information. Like it's interesting when you hear, even the Uber driver the other day, I was just like, his perspective and his reality of the world is so different. And it's probably because we talk about this all the time, but it's like what he's consuming is not telling him all the facts. So he's not really, like, to him, that's the reality, where we're also going to different news outlets and getting a different reality. So God knows what we're missing out on, because I think we're all guilty of it. So
for sure.
I mean, I think,
well, and that's part of cognitive dissonance, and the even bigger problem with services and apps like Apple News and Google News, because they're just feeding you what you already believe. And that's a big problem in lack of media literacy.
Well, 100%. Yes. People want to hear and they want to have their beliefs confirmed. So they seek out like TV talk shows, news, social media that's going to reconfirm what you believe. And the gun thing to me is crazy when some conservatives start posting about like how we need guns to protect ourselves. I'm like, just the logic. I'm like, I don't know. Why do you think throwing more guns at the problem is going to solve the problem?
That one I don't understand.
Like arming teachers, that is ridiculous.
Oh my God.
Okay.
You know how many deaths would happen more if like children got a hold of that? Like, goodbye.
Or if a teacher's pissed off. Like, Timmy, I told you to shut up. How many times? Like, I'm sorry, I don't trust every teacher either.
No way. And all the shit you guys deal with in general, or you dealt with, like, of course they're gonna fucking snap.
Or not even that, or if the teacher takes the gun and like uses it for self-harm. I'm just like, it opens like the Pandora box. Like, why would we want to? And we can barely fund schools, so now we're all of a sudden we're gonna buy all these weapons. Moving on, but that's
you moving on. I'm depressed as fuck as always. Okay, last question asked in this category and last category in general: economic fears. The results were a little bit more evenly distributed on all three parties here. Republicans are less likely to believe that an economic collapse will occur in the near future. Right, because they have all the fucking money and they're cheap bastards. But no, it's because they care so much about conserving their own fucking money. And Democrats... Democrats are most likely to believe that it's coming soon, which we just kind of discussed. That's weird. So, yeah. In conclusion, I'm depressed now as fuck. In conclusion, more Americans today believe in conspiracies across the board. And even in the study, 10% of all the participants, again, across all parties, believed in all 8 presented conspiracies, even when one was a fake one in this survey. So,
wait, say it again.
So,
sorry, I didn't follow
taking
that.
the whole wath of surveyors, which was 1,200 people, more or less, of Americans across the country, of Democrats, Republicans, Independents. 10% of the whole sample survey believed in all 8 conspiracies that they were given. Presented with.
Okay, I see. So they present
even
them
when one of them was fake.
Oh, yep. I'm not surprised by that either.
Yeah. So anyway, point being, we all have vast mis and distrust of the government, and it's crazy. And again, the data is variant, but Tyler, to your credit again, he does state that further research really has to be done to fully understand the intricacies of your beliefs and your party affiliation. But to what we were just talking about, we're all just burnt the fuck out. And again, seeking information easy, quickly, or just to confirm, because we're so goddamn tired to do the research on something else down another path is so exhausting.
Well, not to cut you off, but even if you have the energy, the time, or you care enough, because there's certain things that are happening. When would I have the energy or care to go research it?
Yeah. People are lazy today, and that goes along with
I don't think
literacy,
that's being lazy. I think that's just, it's not your priority. I feel like you have other priorities, like advancing your career, spending time with loved ones, doing things that make you happy. That's not my top of my list to go research what they tell me in the news. I don't think that's being lazy. I think that's priority. My priority is not to sit there and be like, oh, let me fact check this today. Let me set aside an hour to start fact checking everything I heard on the news.
I get that point. But it isn't taught either, to my point, and it needs to be media literacy. So anyway, to quote Tyler's paper, to wrap this shit up, we're all fucked. But to quote this distrust that can be extremely dangerous once a disaster strikes, and the government failing to adequately crush conspiracy theories with complete truth only further inflames these people into not trusting their government, which hurts this country overall, end quote. And once again, in conclusion, we're all fucked. But do your homework. Even though it's work, like Amy said and pointed out very poignantly, it is work, but it's really, really important to not get complacent. And it's ironic. Today I had this conversation when I saw a CNN headline of the Georgia people being in their election booths, or the people that were supposed to be overseeing the Georgia election results were somehow there. I didn't read the full story, but I looked at the headline and I was like, of fucking course they were, because they were there to disrupt it somehow. And that's where my brain went because of my beliefs, right? Mm-hmm. And I don't trust Republicans, go figure. But I
don't know how anyone does at this point.
But anyway, so me and my colleague were watching the same headline at the same time, and she goes, ugh. And I'm like, I'm so exhausted. And she's like, I know, but don't do that. She's like, that's what they want. Do not give up. And you have to always be curious and not give into the fatigue of finding the truth. And that's the moral of my story today. Yay.
Well, good job. It'd be cool if we could reach out to this guy and tell him we did like an episode over his thesis paper, because how honored would he probably be?
Oh my God, we should. Yes, Tyler, we're going to find you, I hope.
And hopefully we did it justice.
Oh my God, I probably fucked it all up, all the data. So be honored to have you on to correct anything I got wrong if you're interested. So thank you.
He's probably like, I can't talk to these ladies.
These dumb bitches. These dumb cunts. But anyway, that was really depressing as always. So, positives?
I don't feel that depressed, honestly.
What?
I don't know. I feel
like... Did you take more shrooms?
No. I just feel like you just basically, in a nutshell, told me there's a lot of dumb people out there. And I was like, I already knew that. So I'm not that sad.
Well, yeah, that's the truth.
I'm not like the survey, or this study is like, oh my God, we're screwed. I was like, just confirms there's a lot of stupid people out there.
Yeah.
And I mean, we've...
Stupid or lazy, or both, or misinformed, which isn't always everyone's fault. But yeah, it's depresses me. But
I'll let you be depressed for the two of us, because I feel okay.
Okay, well, I'll give a positive. Let's see. Amazing weekend in Sedona, which was all ooey gooey and like everything I needed. So
I thought you were going to say RuPaul.
And RuPaul too. That was, both Saturday and Sunday were like just really awesome days.
Sweet.
So. All right.
So my positive, let's see. I mean, I have a lot of good things going on, but I'm just blanking right now. I will say...
You got promoted, wink, wink.
From what?
No, just on your resume title.
Oh, shh. Be quiet about that.
Just kidding.
I'm going to Flagstaff this weekend, so that's definitely a positive.
Oh, you are going?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
We got a hotel, and we booked...
Oh, that's right.
Dinner for Saturday night. I'm excited. It's going to be like a... have you ever been to Tinderbox?
I need to get on Tinder, but no.
Anyway, it looks fancy schmancy, so it'll be date night. We're going to take the dogs. It's going to be...
I need to get on Tinder to open my box. You know what I'm saying?
I like how you turned my restaurant into something sexual. Well, it's not my restaurant. My restaurant. But yeah, that's my positive. I can't wait to go hiking, relax. Other than that, life's been pretty peachy. Nothing too crazy going on.
Yay. Sweet. Well, just busy as fuck, but good as fuck.
And depressed as fuck.
Well, today, this reporting was like a little bit like, I don't know.
What?
It's just a concept that I always talk about, and I just feel like nobody cares. And it's really scary because without media literacy, we're all just going to be fucked, you know?
That's with a lot of things in life, though. Like global warming.
You are poly-positive today. What's wrong with you? Is this Orange Theory glow?
It is. I don't know.
The cult of Orange Theory that you have now joined.
It's got me. Well, should we say
awesome.
Peace bewitches?
Peace bewitches.
Bye. Thanks for listening. Check us out on Instagram or bewitchbanter.com. Suggestions for the show? Emails at bewitchbanter@gmail.com. Credits, music Phantom Fun by Jonathan Boyle from premiumbeat.com. Podcasts edited and produced by Krista Hins and Amy Holt. As always, if you enjoyed, please rate, review, and subscribe.